I sat there watching my wife laugh a little too hard at whatever Trevor just said. Her hand reached across the table and touched his arm, lingering there for a moment longer than necessary. The restaurant buzzed with conversation around us, but I felt like I was sitting in a vacuum. Madison's eyes sparkled as she leaned closer to him, completely forgetting I existed. My jaw tightened. When I finally spoke up, she turned to me with cold eyes and said those words that changed everything. "If you are that insecure, just leave." I stood up, placed cash on the table for my meal, and walked out. That night, I did something she never saw coming. Before I continue, let me know where you are watching from. If you have ever felt invisible in your own relationship, hit that like button so I know I am not alone. And make sure to subscribe because what happened next proved that sometimes the quietest move is the strongest one. Let me take you back 5 years. That is when I met Madison through a dating app. I remember her profile picture, the way she smiled with genuine warmth. Madison was confident and full of energy, the kind of person who walked into a room and immediately brightened it. Me, I was Chase, a software engineer who spent most days behind a computer screen. Quieter, more reserved, but honest to my core. Our first date was at a small Italian place in downtown Denver. She ordered the carbonara and talked about her job in marketing with such passion that I could not help but be drawn in. I told her about the app I was developing, expecting her eyes to glaze over like most people, but she listened. Actually listened. That was what hooked me. We dated for 3 years before I proposed. She said yes without hesitation, crying happy tears on the patio of her favorite restaurant overlooking the mountains. Our wedding was simple, just close family and friends at a vineyard outside the city. 2 years into our marriage, life felt balanced. We rented a modest apartment in Denver with big windows that let in the morning sun. Weekends meant cooking together, her making fun of my terrible knife skills, while I defended my engineer precision. We would binge-watch crime documentaries, her head on my shoulder, arguing about who the killer was before the reveal. I worked remotely as a senior developer for a tech company, which gave me flexibility. Madison went to the office every day, coming home with stories about campaigns and client meetings. We had our rhythm. Dinner at 7, talking about our days. Saturday morning hikes when the weather allowed. Sunday brunches at the diner 2 blocks away where the waitress knew our order by heart. Everything felt right. Solid. Like we were building something real together. Then, about 6 months ago, Madison got promoted as senior marketing manager. I was proud of her. Really proud. She had worked hard for that position, staying late, taking on extra projects, proving herself in a competitive field. Her salary increased significantly, which meant we could finally start saving for a house. But with the promotion came changes. Subtle at first. She started coming home later, sometimes 8 or 9 at night instead of 6. When I asked about her day, her answers became shorter. Work was fine. The campaign was moving forward. Nothing specific, just vague responses that left me feeling disconnected. She began paying more attention to her appearance, too. Not that she was not attractive before, but suddenly there was more effort. Makeup got bolder. Outfits more carefully selected. She spent longer in front of the mirror each morning. When I complimented her, telling her she looked beautiful, she would shrug and say, "I do it for myself, not you." The words stung, but I told myself she was just stressed. New position, more responsibility. I gave her space. That is when Trevor started appearing in our conversations. At first it was casual mentions. Trevor suggested this strategy for the new campaign. Trevor brought donuts for the team today. Trevor made everyone laugh during the meeting. I did not think much of it. Coworkers talk about each other, that is normal. But then Trevor became a daily topic. Every single evening his name came up. Trevor told this hilarious joke. Trevor recommended a lunch spot downtown that I want to try. Trevor has such creative ideas for the client presentation. It was always Trevor this, Trevor that. One night while we were eating the stir fry I had made, I finally said something. "You talk about him a lot." Madison looked up from her phone. "Who, Trevor?" She laughed, but there was an edge to it. "He is just a coworker, Chase." Do not be insecure. There it was. The first time she used that word against me. Insecure. Like my feelings were invalid, like noticing the obvious made me weak. I swallowed my frustration and dropped it. But the word echoed in my head for days. About 3 months ago, I started noticing Madison on her phone constantly. During dinner, while we watched television, even in bed before sleep. She would smile at the screen, sometimes laugh out loud, then quickly lock it when she noticed me looking. What is so funny? I asked one evening. Just work stuff, she said, tucking the phone against her chest. One afternoon, I was sitting across from her at the kitchen table. She was scrolling through messages and I happened to glance over. Trevor's name lit up the screen with a new text. You look amazing today. My stomach dropped. Why is he texting you? That Madison's face flushed. It is harmless. We are friends. Friends do not compliment like that, Madison. Her eyes turned cold. You are being controlling. I can have friends, Chase. This is exactly what I mean about you being insecure. I am not controlling. I am your husband, and I am telling you that makes me uncomfortable. Then maybe you need to work on your insecurity, she snapped, standing up and walking away. I sat there alone at the table, feeling like I had done something wrong for simply expressing my feelings. From that point on, Madison texted Trevor openly right in front of me. During dinners I cooked, while we sat on the couch. She would laugh at his messages, fingers flying across the keyboard in response, while I sat there like furniture. The loneliness crept in slowly. I was married, but I felt more alone than I ever had when I was single. 2 months ago, Madison announced she had a team dinner. I have a meeting with Trevor and some clients tonight. Do not wait up. What time will you be back? Not sure, it might run late. She left around 6. I texted her around 10 asking if everything was okay. She replied an hour later. Still here. Talk soon. She came home at 1:15 in the morning. I was still awake, sitting on the couch in the dark. The door opened and she walked in heels and her hand makeup slightly smudged, smelling like wine and expensive cologne. Where were you? I told you. Team dinner. Until 1 in the morning. Yes, Chase. We went for drinks after. Stop interrogating me like I am a criminal. I am not interrogating you. I was worried. Worried or jealous, I did not answer. What could I say? She turned every concern into an accusation against me. The team dinners became frequent after that. Once a week, sometimes twice. Madison would come home late, happy and energized in a way she never was after spending time with me. I would ask simple questions and get labeled as controlling or jealous or insecure. One night around 11, I heard her phone buzz on the nightstand. She was in the shower. I glanced over and saw the notification. Trevor. Had so much fun tonight. My chest tightened. I did not confront her. What was the point? She would just deny it, call me paranoid, make me feel like the problem. Our relationship deteriorated quickly after that. Madison stopped asking about my day, stopped touching me casually the way she used to. No more hand on my shoulder when she walked past. No more goodbye kiss before work. We existed in the same space but lived separate lives. I tried to reconnect. I cooked her favorite meals, hoping we could talk over dinner like we used to. She picked at her food eyes on her phone. I suggested we watch the new documentary series she had mentioned wanting to see. She said she was too tired. I booked tickets to a concert for a band she loved. She canceled last minute, claiming she had too much work. But she had energy for Trevor. Energy to text him. Energy to go out with him. One Saturday afternoon, I suggested we drive up to the mountains for a hike, something we used to love doing together. I need space, Chase. You are being too clingy. Wanting to spend time with my wife is clingy. Yes, it feels suffocating. I backed off, gave her the space she asked for. She spent the day on the couch, scrolling through her phone, laughing at messages I was not part of. That night, I lay awake next to her, listening to her breathe, feeling like a stranger in my own bed. I finally asked the question that had been burning in my chest for weeks. Do you still love me? She did not answer right away. When she did, her voice was flat. I do not know anymore. Those 5 words shattered whatever hope I had left. 2 weeks before everything exploded, Madison's company threw a quarterly party. She invited me, though it felt more like an obligation than genuine desire for my company. Maybe this will be good, I thought. Maybe being around her coworkers, seeing her in her element, will help us reconnect. We arrived at the upscale venue around 7. The place was packed with people in business, casual holding drinks and networking. Madison introduced me quickly to a few people, her hand barely touching my back. Then she drifted away. I watched her navigate the room. She was good at this, charming and confident. Then I saw him. Trevor. Tall, fit, probably mid-30s, with the kind of easy smile that made people gravitate toward him. Madison lit up when she saw him. She walked over and they fell into conversation immediately. I stood 20 feet away holding a glass of water, watching my wife laugh at something he said, her hand touching his shoulder. I wanted to walk over to insert myself into the conversation, but I felt frozen. Out of place. The entire night continued like that. Madison and Trevor talking, laughing, existing in their own bubble while I stood on the sidelines. At one point, an older woman approached me. Are you here alone? No, I am with my wife. She looked around. Where is she? I pointed toward Madison, still deep in conversation with Trevor. The woman gave me a sympathetic smile and walked away. That look said everything. I left the party early, telling Madison I had a headache. She barely acknowledged my departure, waving absently while Trevor said something that made her laugh. I drove home alone that night, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Friday night, Madison told me her team was celebrating a successful campaign launch at an upscale steakhouse downtown. She wanted me there because her boss liked meeting family members of the staff. I agreed, hoping maybe this time would be different. We arrived around 7:30. The private dining room was elegant with dim lighting and a long table set for about 15 people. Madison took a seat near the middle. Trevor was already there, and naturally she sat right next to him. I ended up directly across from them. Dinner started fine. Polite conversation, work talk I only half understood. Then the drinks started flowing and the atmosphere loosened up. That is when I watched my marriage crumble in real time. Trevor told some story about a client meeting gone wrong, exaggerating the details for comedic effect. Madison threw her head back, laughing, her hand reaching out to grab his forearm. Oh my God, you are so funny. I stared at her hand on his arm. She did not pull away. Neither did he. They continued talking like I was not there. Inside jokes about the office. References to lunches they had shared. Memories I was not part of. Madison leaned closer to him when she spoke, her body language completely open, engaged, alive, in a way she had not been with me in months. I tried to eat, but every bite tasted like ash. My chest felt tight, anger and humiliation, mixing into something toxic. Madison, I said quietly, can we talk? She turned to me, irritation flashing across her face. What? Can you tone it down a bit? Tone what down? You know what I mean. Trevor interjected, his tone condescending. Hey man, we are just having fun. I looked at him directly. I am talking to my wife. Madison stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. Everyone at the table stopped talking and looked at us. Her voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. If you are that insecure, just leave. Silence fell over the room. 15 pairs of eyes turned toward me. The humiliation was complete. My wife had just dismissed me in front of her colleagues, choosing her coworker over me in the most public way possible. I stood slowly, pulled out my wallet, and placed enough cash on the table to cover my portion of the meal and a generous tip. I looked at Madison one last time. She stared back, defiant, waiting for me to back down like I always did. Not this time. I walked out of that restaurant with my head high, even though my heart was breaking. I got in my car, gripped the steering wheel, and sat there for a moment. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from clarity. This marriage was over, and I was done being the one who fought for it alone. I drove home, my mind surprisingly clear. The fog of confusion and self-doubt that had clouded my judgment for months lifted. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I pulled into our apartment complex around 9:30, went straight to our home office, and opened my laptop. My fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. Divorce lawyer Denver. I scrolled through reviews looking for someone experienced, professional, and available quickly. Gregory Stone. 15 years of family law experience. 5-star rating. Available for emergency consultations. I sent him an email immediately outlining the situation in brief professional terms. I need to file for divorce as soon as possible. My wife has been emotionally involved with a coworker. I have evidence. Please contact me at your earliest convenience. Next, I opened our shared photo cloud. I had been saving screenshots for weeks, hating myself for it, but knowing deep down I might need them. Messages from Trevor that crossed the line. You look incredible today. Cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was amazing. I downloaded them all onto a flash drive. I pulled up our bank statements, printed copies of our joint accounts, our lease agreement, everything that documented our shared life. I transferred exactly half of our joint savings into my personal account. It was my legal right, and I was not going to be caught unprepared. Then I went to our bedroom and packed a suitcase. Clothes for a week, toiletries, my laptop charger, important documents. I moved methodically without emotion, like I was solving a problem at work. I heard keys in the door around midnight. Madison walked in, still humming, clearly in a good mood. She stopped when she saw me in the bedroom with a suitcase open on the bed. "What are you doing? I am leaving," she laughed. Actually, leaving to where a hotel. And you will be receiving divorce papers early next week. Her smile faded. You cannot be serious. I have never been more serious about anything in my life. Chase, you are overreacting. We just had a little fight. No, Madison. We did not have a fight. You humiliated me in front of your colleagues, chose another man over your husband repeatedly, and told me to leave if I was insecure. So I am taking your advice. I am leaving. You will not actually go through with this. I zipped the suitcase and looked at her. Watch me. I walked past her toward the door. She grabbed my arm. Chase, do not be ridiculous. We can talk about this. I gently removed her hand. Talk to my lawyer. I left our apartment, loaded my suitcase into my car, and drove to a hotel near downtown. I checked in, went up to my room, sat on the edge of the bed, and let out a breath I felt like I had been holding for months. My phone started buzzing immediately, Madison calling. I declined. Text messages flooded in. We need to talk. You are being irrational. Come home. I turned my phone on silent and went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 32 text messages. I ignored all of them and focused on the email waiting in my inbox. Gregory Stone had responded, Mr. Chase, I received your email. I have availability Monday morning at 9. Please bring all documentation you mentioned. We will discuss your options and move forward quickly. This is a difficult time, but you have taken the right first step. Monday morning, I sat in Gregory's office. He was about 50, gray hair, sharp eyes, the kind of person who had seen every variation of marriage falling apart. Tell me everything, he said. I did. I told him about Trevor, about Madison's emotional affair, about being told to leave, about the humiliation. I showed him the text messages, the bank statements, the timeline of her staying out late. Gregory nodded throughout. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. You did the right thing protecting yourself financially and documenting everything. Based on what you have shown me, we have grounds for divorce due to unreasonable behavior. Colorado is a no-fault state which works in our favor. We can move quickly. What do I need to do? We file the petition this week. You will need to have her served with papers. Given that there are no children involved and you both have independent incomes, this should be relatively straightforward. We will push for a fair division of assets and a clean break. I do not want anything from her. I just want out. I understand. But we will ensure you get what you are legally entitled to. Do not let emotion make you give away what you have earned. Over the next week, I stayed at the hotel and avoided Madison's calls. She tried everything. First, anger. You are being childish. Then bargaining. Can we please just talk? Then desperation. I love you. Please come home. Please come. I did not respond to any of it. Every message, every voicemail just reinforced that I was making the right decision. If she loved me, she would not have treated me the way she did. Love does not humiliate. Love does not dismiss. Love does not choose someone else. Friday afternoon, 1 week after I walked out of that restaurant, Madison received the petition for divorce via certified mail. My phone rang 30 seconds later. I answered. Hello. Chase. Her voice was shaking. Is this real? Yes. You are really divorcing me. You told me to leave if I was insecure. I left, and now I am finishing what you started. I did not mean it like that. You meant every word, Madison, and I heard you loud and clear. What about Trevor? There is nothing between us. It does not matter anymore. Whether there is or is not anything between you two is irrelevant. What matters is that you checked out of our marriage. You chose him over me repeatedly. You made me feel worthless in my own relationship. I am done, please. Can we just talk face to face? Talk to my lawyer. His information is on the papers. I hung up. She called back immediately. I sent it to voicemail. 2 weeks later, I heard through a mutual friend what happened next. Madison, desperate and confused, reached out to Trevor. She thought maybe there was something real there. Maybe he felt what she felt. Maybe leaving her marriage was not a mistake if it meant being with him. She met him for coffee. According to what I heard, she hinted at her feelings suggested they could be more than coworkers now that she was getting divorced. Trevor apparently looked uncomfortable. Madison, I have a girlfriend. We have been together for 3 years. I thought you knew. Madison was stunned. What? Yeah, Emma and I are actually talking about getting engaged soon. I am sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. I was just being friendly. Just like that, Madison realized she had destroyed her marriage for an illusion. Trevor was not interested. He had never been interested. He was just a friendly coworker, and she had projected her own desires onto him. She called me that night crying. I answered because part of me needed to know. He does not want me, she sobbed. Trevor has a girlfriend. I ruined everything for nothing. I did not feel satisfaction. I just felt sad. I am sorry you are hurting, Madison, but that does not change anything between us. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. Can we please try again? No, please. You did not just make a mistake. You made choices. Every day for months you chose to prioritize him over me. You chose to dismiss my feelings. You chose to humiliate me. Those were not mistakes. Those were decisions. And now I am making mine. I hung up and blocked her number. The divorce was finalized 2 months later. We sold the apartment and split the proceeds evenly. No alimony, no drama. Just a clean legal dissolution of a marriage that had died long before the paperwork made it official. The last time I saw Madison was at the final hearing. She looked thinner, tired, like she had not been sleeping. We sat on opposite sides of the courtroom while the judge reviewed the settlement agreement. When it was done, we both signed. She cried. I stayed calm. Outside the courthouse, she tried one more time. I am so sorry, Chase, for everything. I know you are. Can you forgive me? Maybe someday, but that does not mean I am coming back. She nodded, tears streaming down her face, and walked away. I stood there for a moment watching her disappear into the parking lot and felt nothing but relief. 6 months after the divorce, I moved to Austin, Texas. My company offered me a position at their headquarters with a significant raise. It felt like the universe telling me to start fresh. I found a small apartment with a balcony overlooking the city. I decorated it exactly how I wanted, no compromises. I joined a gym and started working out regularly, not to impress anyone, but because it made me feel strong. I reconnected with old friends I had neglected during my marriage. I joined a hiking group and spent weekends exploring trails around Austin with people who genuinely enjoyed my company. Slowly, I started to feel like myself again. The version of me that existed before I spent years trying to save a marriage that one person had already abandoned. I did not rush into dating. I focused on healing, on understanding what went wrong, on making sure I never again ignored red flags or accepted treatment that made me feel small. 1 year after the divorce, I was back in Denver visiting an old college friend. We grabbed coffee at a place near my old apartment. As I walked in, I saw her. Madison. She was sitting alone at a corner table staring at her phone. Our eyes met. She looked shocked. I walked over. Hi, Chase. Her voice was quiet. You look good. Thanks. You too. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. How have you been? She asked. Good. Really good, actually. I moved to Austin. New job. New life. That is great. I am happy for you.